All right. Hi, everybody. It's April 22nd. It is the Monday after Easter. So if you celebrate Easter, I hope you had a beautiful day with your families. I know I did. I am just barely recovered. Actually, I'm not recovered at all. I'm lying. Um, like I said, I have one brain cell in operation right now. But we're going to get through this because we have an amazing guest speaker. It's Ashley Feldeisen. Just the other day, Julia Nastasi sends me a message like 30 minutes before her team call. She goes, "Hey, I have Ashley Feldeisen on, jump on." And I sent the link out to some of my PS coaches, and I was just blown away. And so Ashley is an amazing coach in the network that has an incredible story. So today she's going to do that. She's going to share your story because I think that in her message, in what she has experienced as a coach, you're going to get so many lessons that I think you're going to be able to relate to in your soul. Because when I heard her story the other day, I was like, damn, everybody needs to hear her story and how she persevered and is now one of the top coaches in our entire network. Before I turn it over, though, let me say this. We are taking applications for Rise to Diamond. That is posted in the Diesel Nation Rising page. So if you haven't already done that, make sure you apply. It is for Emerald coaches, right? So you have to be an Emerald with points on the board this month, so SE2 and above, in order to get into this Rise to Diamond push group that I am co-leading with Trina Gray and Julie Boris. And we're going to push for that summit June 6th deadline so that we can have an army. Like, my goal is to have an army of coaches in the diamond level training at Summit. I think that if you've already been to Summit and you've sat through, you know, the vital behavior trainings and the inviting, like, it's time to level up. It's time to get into the leadership trainings and start listening to more high level stuff to take your business to the next level. So let's do the work right now. Let's get our businesses set up for Diamond by June 6th so that you can be in that Diamond level training. And hey, if you do anything like Ashley has done in her business, you may be setting yourself up not only for NLC for sure, which is next January, February, but hey, some of you can push for leadership. And some of us that are going to leadership this year, just to drop some notes and some inspiration, we're going to be spending some time in Sedona. So it's going to be really, really cool. So I hope you guys apply and get into Rise to Diamond. And then the last reminder before I turn it over is that in order to get into the Success Club parties at Summit, which are always the best ones, like hands down, the Success Club party. Do you guys remember it was the day that Becky and I spoke at Summit? It was like the perfect day ever. David Bowie. Do you guys remember that concert? God. And that was the Success Club party. We got to hear, it was like the most epic day of life. So you want to get into the Success Club party, and you need to be at SC10 this month and next month. So if you're sitting at 4 or you're sitting at 6 or you're sitting at 8, SC10 this month, SC10 next month gets you into the Success Club party. All right, that's enough from me, guys. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ashley to inspire us and to give us the goods. Remember, our noon calls, we have a lot of coaches at work, so it is imperative that when I post a recording, you spread it like wildfire into your team pages. So I'm going to shut up, and I'm going to turn it over to Ashley Feldeisen.
Yay, can you guys hear me? Perfect. I am right with you, Christina. My brain is like, I'm having the Mondayest Monday ever. I probably ate way too many Reese's eggs yesterday that my brain is just mush. So I'm hoping that I could inspire you guys like crazy. So I am actually going to share my screen. Otherwise, I will be a squirrel. I don't know how to keep on track. So can you guys see that? Yes? Awesome. So like Christina said, I really want to share, basically, I really just kind of want to share my story from start to finish and the leadership lessons that I learned throughout the course of growing in this business for the last 4 years. And I will say that I really haven't been truly invested in this business for 4 years since like 2 years ago was when I really started to dive in. But I want to take you guys like all the way back to the very beginning of when I was a child. I wanted to teach my whole life. Like I was destined to teach. I was the type of child who, you know, when all my friends were playing, my mom always tells me that I would always have like yearbooks in front of me, like reading people's names or like rereading books to my other brothers and sisters. And so as a child, I had a lot of inconsistencies in my life, and my mom was married 4 times before I was 13, and my dad was married 3 times before I was 13. And I had brothers and sisters coming in and leaving, like step parents coming in and leaving. And so we moved a lot. I went to a ton of different schools. And with all of the inconsistencies, there was one very consistent thing in my life. It was my handicapped uncle, who actually, this is his birthday. My mom has taken care of him my whole life, and still to this day, he lives with her. And he didn't know how to read and write. But when I was learning how to read and write, and when I was 5 or 6 years old, going through kindergarten and first grade, I remember going to school, learning my cursive, learning how to read, and I was bringing those things home to him each and every single night. I remember so vividly, like having him sit in front of me, and I like taught him cursive. And that's where my love of mentorship and leadership, and I really loved literacy. That's where it kind of fell into play at a very young age. And I never changed my mind growing up. I wanted to teach through and through. I'm sorry, I just clicked something. I need to see my face. What am I doing? Hang on one second. I clicked something and now I can't see my face. Hang on. Pin my video. Okay, can you see my screen? Yes, no, just type. What is going on with my Zoom right now?
We could see your screen.
Oh, you could. Okay. Phew. All right.
I turned it off. There we go.
Now you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Sorry, guys. Technology is not my friend. Again, I have one brain cell today as well. But so I never changed my mind. I went through high school. I went through college knowing that I wanted to teach. I grew up in Rochester, New York. I went to college in Buffalo, New York, and I got my undergrad in elementary education. And my junior year of college, my now fiance and I, Tyler, he was living in Baltimore. I was living in Buffalo at the time. We decided that we were going to make the distance work, which was about a 6 or 7 hour drive. And we made that work for a year and a half, and then graduation rolled around in 2014, and we had to decide whether I was going to pick my life up and move it to Baltimore, or if he was going to pick up his life and move it to Buffalo. And unfortunately, there still are 0 teaching jobs in upstate New York. And so we made the decision to move to Baltimore, move my entire life to Baltimore. I had $0 to my name. I had $100,000 worth of college debt. I went from living with 6 roommates where we partied all the time and moving right into Tyler's parents' basement outside of Baltimore, Maryland. And so now I'm living in Tyler's parents' basement, and I have to get certified to become a teacher in Maryland. I have to start applying to jobs, and I need to start applying to get my master's, to get into a master's program. And so I went from like 0 responsibilities other than going to school, not having to pay any bills or anything, to all of these responsibilities on my plate at once. And it was a total shock for me. And as you can imagine, with like pouring into all of these things and all of these major changes, my body started to change. My mindset started to change. I suffer from chronic migraines, like stroke-like migraines, and I was getting them consistently. Like, they're debilitating. And I was putting on weight like crazy, and I was pouring into my new career. I was pouring into my new master's program. I was driving an hour to work every single day. And even though I was in this honeymoon stage of being a brand new teacher, I burnt out. And it was January of 2015, after just being in teaching for like 5 months. January 2015 rolled around, and I was like, Ash, you got to do something. Like, you have got to change something, because you're not giving your best self to your students. You're not giving any part of yourself to Tyler, because you're just so busy and you're so overworked. And we couldn't afford to get out of his parents' basement. And it wasn't living. My whole life I dreamt, like, I was a dreamer. I am such a dreamer. And my whole life I dreamt of being a teacher. And then I got there and I like set myself up for success. I dreamt of my dream classroom. I dreamt of my dream students, my dream curriculum, like all of these things. And I got there and I was frustrated. I was defeated. And so I knew that I needed to start controlling the controllable in my life. But my problem is that what was once my problem in 2015 was that I lacked any type of knowledge in getting healthy and fit. I was now sitting at over 200 pounds. I was 203 pounds in January of 2015. I remember it so vividly. And I knew that I had failed at so many other things my whole life. I asked for Nutrisystem for my 16th birthday, failed it. Did Weight Watchers with my mom, failed it. And love my mom to death, but she wasn't a great role model when it came to health and weight loss, because she was taught what all the other women or all the other moms were taught, right? Fad diet, fad diet, fad diet. And so that's what I started to pick up. But I did find a gym in my midway point. I woke up right outside of Baltimore, traveled about 25 minutes to a gym, ran 3 miles every single morning, showered, and then finished my commute to work every day. And that lasted for a couple of weeks until I burnt out completely. And I saw this before and after photo on Instagram. I never remember, so this was a childhood friend that I grew up with. I cheered with her. I never remember ever seeing her post anything about Beachbody before. My dad was an avid like P90Xer, loved Shakeology. It was always his thing. It was never my thing. But in this moment, I saw this before and after photo. And it was the before and after photo that changed my whole world. That's why I will never, ever be afraid of sending an invite. That's why I will never, ever be afraid of sharing a before and after photo, because this before and after photo was not incredible. It was not a 100-pound weight loss. She didn't have washboard abs. What she had in that moment was a story to tell. And her name was Caitlin, and it was a 21-day before and after photo. Caitlin was a nurse, and she was busy. And she proved to me in that moment that if she could show up and find something that worked for her, that I could show up in my busy schedule and find something that worked for me. And I remember actually looking over at Ty and being like, she looks like me on the left. And I craved to look like her on the right. And it wasn't that like dream body, because she didn't have like this amazing body, but what she had was the sense of pride that she had found something for herself. And you could just see it in her smile. You could hear it in her words. And I dove right in that Friday when I got paid, and I fell in love with the sustainability of our programs. I fell in love with the simplicity of the nutrition plan. How for once I wasn't trying to like fit this puzzle piece into my life, but my life could just kind of work around this nutrition program and work around this workup program. And it was just simple and sustainable. And I've never stopped from there. Like, I just fell in love with the color-coded containers. My foot was on the gas pedal so much that Caitlin was like, Ash, you need to just be a coach. And so for me, when I became a coach, and when she introduced this opportunity to me, I wasn't like, okay, what are the policies and procedures and how much money am I going to make? And I didn't throw these objections at her. What I thought in that moment, that when she presented this opportunity to me, what I knew in that moment was that she changed my life by showing up. I knew that I was going to be a better Ashley by consistently showing up, that if she could just show up and change my life, I could show up and just change other people's lives. And now when I got started, it wasn't to quit my teaching job. I didn't know that there was really even a huge financial backing in this business. For me, I got started because my life was changed. And I really, really try to hold on to that each and every single day. Because in the moment that she shared her transformation photo on social media, that she laid out that public invite, that was the voice that I needed in the moment, laying in bed in February of 2015, that I needed to hear to prove to me that I was capable of doing something that somebody else was doing. And so I moved forward with that mission, helping other women get started the way Caitlin helped Ashley get started, by just proving to the other Ashleys of the world that through my story, you can too. And I started just showing up. one life turned into two, and two lives turned into 5, and then 15. And all of a sudden you're like adding a little pebble into your pile, and you turn around. And I remember in like the summer of 2015, just like looking back at this mountain, I'm like, where did these people come from? It's just from showing up and getting and being consistent with those things you're doing each day. And what was once a plan for Tyler and I when we, in February of 2015, we knew that we would like to be out of his parents' basement within 2 years. We live right smack dab in the middle of DC and Baltimore, so it's ridiculously expensive. And we said we'd like to be able to, purchase a house or get an apartment within 2 years. And what was once that 2-year plan turned into 5 months, and we were able to put our down payment on our starter home because I was solely living on my Beachbody income and putting my teaching income away. And if I can say that in that moment in my life, at that point of my life when we were about to buy our starter home, I dreamt so long and so hard for this career of being a teacher and wanting to be this dream teacher and have these dream students. I dreamt so long and so hard. And then when I came into this role of being a teacher, I stopped dreaming because I set myself up for success. And when Beachbody came into my life, it was like that door was open again. Like I could start working towards something. And so what was once, not a financial opportunity for me. It wasn't like I want to quit my teaching job. It did become that because I saw the leaps and bounds I could grow in this business. And it brought back my favorite quality in myself. It brought back that dreamer mentality. And if you guys can let this opportunity do anything for you, allow it to help you understand what you're capable of, because that is when anybody says, what do you love most about Beachbody? I say that I love how the sky is the limit in this business. And my brother owns a CrossFit gym in Rochester, New York, and I see the stress that he goes through, and it's incredible. He loves it, and that's his mission. But I see, the payroll. I see the having to stock the inventory, having to pay the rent, having to do the snow removal, and I see all of that stuff. And I look at this incredible opportunity that we have in front of us that can grow just by us growing with it, and just by proving to the other Ashleys of the world, the other Christinas of the world, that if we can, other people can too. And so don't take advantage of that. But the trajectory kind of changed in my business. And this is where I really want to teach you guys a lesson. So about 1 year after signing up to be a coach, in February of 2016, I decided that I did want to take a break from teaching, or I wanted to at least see what I could do as a full-time coach. And so I did end up quitting my teaching job, and I went full-time Beachbody. My problem though was when I went full-time Beachbody, I thought that I was going to get all of these people start coming to me. Ashley quit her job. Like, this must be like the mother lode for everybody. And I thought that I was just going to attract people, and everything started to change. What was once my teaching schedule, where I had to wake up, go to work, and then I had to go to grad school that night, I had to fit in the pockets of time to work my business. But when I went to be a full-time coach, it was like I didn't have to wake up to an alarm, and I didn't have to send my invites in the morning. I could do them later in the day until I didn't do them at all. And months went on like that. And then a full year went on like that. And what was once a business that I was so excited to work in the pockets of time in my teaching job, and I was excited to change lives, and I was excited to help the other Ashleys of the world, soon became my full-time gig. And it wasn't fun for me anymore. And I wasn't the CEO of my business. And in July of 2017, I actually had to have a conversation with myself. I either have to shit or get off the pot. I either have to go and put myself into this business. Either this business has to change and I have to find true success in this business, or I have to go back to teaching. And in July of 2017, it was either July or August of 2017, I filled out a teaching application, and I said to myself, this is it. Like, this is what I have to do. I filled it out, and I was finished filling out the application. And this feeling came over me that I just filled out an application for a job that I worked so hard to get out of. I worked so hard to get out of that job for a full year. And here I am filling out an application and just letting that be what has to happen instead of really taking charge of this business. And in that summer of 2017, everything changed. I knew that I had to master my leadership mindset. I had to become the leader that I needed in this business. And so I had to do quite a few things. The first thing that I had to do, oh, by the way, this is a little bit of my life. This is Deacon and Gavin, my little boys. They're 4, Tyler, and then my team at Summit last year. But one of the things that I had to change in 2017, that summer, in order to find true success in my business, was that I needed to start controlling the controllable. And so what's the one thing in our businesses that we do not have any control over? Really, in our life, the one thing we have zero control over, I want you to put it in the chat. One thing that we have no control over. Yep, what everybody else does, other people, right? So we don't have control over other human beings, but we have the Success Club system, and we want to hit diamond, and we want to hit elite. All of those things are based on other human beings. And so my problem the year that I went full time was that I thought that I just needed to shake it out of people. I thought that I just needed to get people to order from me, to buy from me. I thought that I just, had to get people to sign up to be coaches. And I was trying to shake these things out of people, but I needed to master my mindset when it came to Success Club, when it came to Diamond, when it came to Elite. And I wanted to be an elite coach so freaking bad. And what I had to do was sit back and say to myself, okay, I know that in order to hit Success Club, I have to help 3 people get started on their health and fitness journey. In order to get those 3 people started on their health and fitness journey, I have to help those people see why Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology can fit into their life. And in order for those 3 people to see why Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology can fit into their life, I have to be proving every single day that Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology fit into my life and how they advance my life and improve and impact my life every single day. And so by taking the uncontrollable, we can't control Success Club, but by then aligning it to a controllable action item, you start to see that, all right, if I do X, I will then get to Z. And so I needed to really start sharing my story more often. I was the coach who never shared the story because I thought that I could attract people by where I am now. I forgot that I need to continue to share the trenches with them because that's what they're going through. They're not going through chapter 20 with me. They're going through their own chapter 1, 2, 3. They need to read about my chapter 1, 2, 3. And so I really had to start talking about the girl in 2015 who struggled so bad finding something that fit into her life. I had to talk about the 16-year-old who asked for Nutrisystem for her birthday because she had no idea why she was so much bigger than her friends. And so I had to consistently go back to those pieces of my story so people could relate to me. And I think so many coaches in this business, we live on surface level and we just think that we have to hit Success Club by checking off a box, but Success Club goes so much deeper. There's a human being on the other side of every one of those Success Club points, and they have a story that needs to relate to yours. And so I needed to start controlling that controllable thing and sharing my story. I share my story almost every single day, whether it's on my Instagram feed, whether I'm sprinkling it into my Instagram stories, whether I'm just talking to my team about it. Your story, our stories are going to be what really help connect people and prove to people why Beachbody On Demand, Shakeology, and coaching truly are for them. And then you have to build that parallel. Christina talks about you guys, advancing your business to diamond. Number one, diamond is an uncontrollable thing. You can't just say, I want to hit diamond and then just hope and pray that you hit diamond, right? You have to start building actionable items, controllable items to get you there. And so just like we talked about helping people understand why Beachbody On Demand and Shakeology is for them or how it could impact their life, we have to talk about why this coaching opportunity can impact their life. And that's the controllable thing. By sharing our story, by sharing the hard stuff that we went through that Beachbody was the answer for. So for me, I talked about my whole life being this dreamer and then getting into this career where I was frustrated. Beachbody opened that door for me to dream bigger again. It helped me purchase my house. It helped me sell that first house. We're building our house, right? We're building a new house. We're paying for our wedding debt-free right now. And so I'm always talking about those things that Beachbody answered. Maybe you're a brand new coach and you don't have huge success just yet. When I was a brand new coach, I was talking about the little things like getting to Super Saturday, starting to actually build relationships. I was in a brand new state where I had 0 friends. I went to Super Saturday. I was surrounded by people whose hearts beat to the same drum. And so again, go below surface level and focus on those controllable things that are really going to help attract the person on the other side of the Instagram story or the Facebook post. Help them really see your story. Help them see themselves through your story. And I always go back to Caitlin, who posted her transformation photo 4 years ago. And she proved to me in that moment that through her busy lifestyle as a nurse, I could do those things in my busy lifestyle as a teacher. And she shared a piece of her life that I could connect with. And so control those controllable things. That's what I had to do in 2017. And I had to get really good at it. Sharing my story became something that was just natural for me. It is just a natural thing for me because I know that my story speaks volumes. And when you get somebody who signs up with a challenge pack or signs up to be a coach, they don't sign up with you because they love the color of your hair, or they don't sign up with you because you have a really pretty Instagram feed. They're signing up with you because they relate to you on a level. And when I get coaches on my team, a lot of them are overworked and underpaid nurses or teachers. They're people who have always struggled with their weight their entire life. They're people who struggled in relationships their whole life because they looked for negative attention. And I'm attracting those people because I'm always talking about those things. And so remember that who you are and the voice that you're spreading on your social media is really going to be your future team. And so you need to just go below surface level and really start controlling those controllable things, okay? And then the next thing in 2017 was that I just needed to make the decision to be all in. I would wake up on a Monday, and maybe on a Monday when I was in this phase of my business not growing, I should probably tell you guys that I hit Diamond in August of 2015. And from August of 2015 to August of 2017, I was a Diamond for 2 years. Now, I craved success so bad, but this was like the decision was the one thing holding me back. I wasn't willing to just be all in. And my success partner, Jen Guthrie, said this example the other day, and I loved it so much. She said, why are we just waiting for people to push us over the cliff? We're just like waiting for people to come up and push us all in, like push us into the water of being like all in on this business. And what I picture, I'm an analogy girl. When I picture that analogy, I just think of myself like looking over at the cliff at all of these people down there in the water, like splashing each other and having fun. And those are the coaches who are hitting Success Club and having fun hitting Success Club, like actually changing lives and building relationships. Those are the people down there who are getting to Super Saturday and like thriving in that room, not just going to go, but thriving. Those coaches are people who are getting on the Success Club trips. Those coaches are the people who are, really all in on their journeys. And I'm up here in 2017 looking down at all of those people splashing each other and having so much fun. And when I look at the coaches on my team who aren't all in, but who tell me they have these big goals and these big dreams, and they get frustrated because Sally's, hitting Success Club 10 and you guys started at the same time. But Sally's all in. Sally jumped off that cliff. She's in the water with all of those people, but you're too afraid. You're waiting for somebody to come up and just push you into that water. And I had to decide in 2017 to just jump, to put my back up against the wall and go all in. And on Monday, I was going to show up. I was going to fill up my own cup first. I was going to make a to-do list. I was going to follow the to-do list, and I wasn't going to go to bed until I was satisfied, until if I were to clock out, my boss would say, Ashley, great job today. Then I was going to do it again on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, until all of a sudden, it doesn't even feel like a job anymore. Sometimes I have to pinch myself and be like, I can't even believe this is Tyler will look at me sometimes and be like, life is good. I'm so happy that you said yes to this, because I decided to go in 2017, and our business has changed so much. I was making a salary like $200 to $500 every single week for 2 years as a diamond coach. And the second that I went all in, I started really, and I'm going to talk about this in just a second, but I started to attract different people. I really started to attract business building coaches because I picked up those attributes of a business builder, of a CEO. And I started to attract these people who wanted to work this business with me. Now, when you start attracting business builders, all of a sudden your volume starts to grow. All of a sudden your rank starts to change. We went from being a diamond team for 2 years. We hit Premier in 2017. Tyler was a diamond, and then I had one other diamond on my team. And then in 1 year, we advanced 38 diamonds in my whole downline. And now we probably have over 50 diamonds in my downline in a year and a half. So it's been a year and a half since August of 2017. And so much has changed because I decided to go all in. And so I had to make some sacrifices. What did going all in really look like for me? I had to make some sacrifices that weren't aligning to my priorities. And I stole this from Melanie Mitro, but she was on a team call of mine and she had us make a priority list. She said, what are your 4 top priorities in your life? And I want you guys to put this in the chat. What are your 4 top priorities in your life? So for instance, mine are my relationship with Tyler, my dogs and my family, my health and my wellness, and my business are my 4 main priorities. Okay, and as those roll in, I want you to start thinking of what your day-to-day life looks like. Maybe don't even think about the good days where you're really on track with your business, but think about where your days start to go when you have a bad day, or where your days start to go later in the week when you're tired. I want you to think about the areas in your life that you really need to start sacrificing, maybe because your business isn't growing at the level you'd like it to grow in. And so some of these things for me were, number one, I was not waking up to an alarm, and I was just waking up when I felt like it. And this is something that always got on Tyler's nerves because Tyler is an entrepreneur as well. He owns a photo booth rental company. And he'd be like, Ash, you have to get up and you have to fill up your own cup. Like, you have to wake up and focus on you. I was waking up when I felt like it. I was getting on my computer. First thing I was doing was answering emails. First thing I was doing was checking my coach online office. Sometimes I'd get in a bad mood. Sometimes I'd get like an annoying email of like a bill, or I'd see something wrong in my coach online office or something. And I was starting my day off like that. And what happens when we open the door to negativity? More negativity floods in, right? And so I needed to focus on Ashley first. Every day, like no questions asked, I'm waking up to an alarm and I'm pushing play at the same time every single day. And this is one of the most common behaviors of millionaires, is that they wake up and they get a sweat in, they get those 30 minutes of focused time for themselves, whether it's meditation, whether it's a workout, whether it's personal development, whatever that looks like, because then they're opening the door to positivity and they're allowing more positivity to flood in. And so paired with that, I allow 20 minutes every single day for like self-growth. Before I check my coach online office, before I check my emails, I work out, I sit on my computer, and on my iPad every day, I write my 10 statements to myself. So those are things like, I'm a millionaire, I'm an incredible partner, I'm extremely healthy, I'm a top 10 coach. So I write those things out that aren't true just yet, not all of them at least. But I'm getting myself in this right mental space to where I feel powerful. I feel like a powerful woman. And then when I go into my emails, I'm a millionaire. I'm a top 10 coach. I'm an incredible friend. I'm loyal. Those emails aren't so hard because I've set myself up to be in a great mental space for those things. And that goes for anything. Focus on yourself first before you deal with your kids that day. Focus on yourself first before you walk in and have to come face to face with your boss. You get into this mental space where you can just perform. And that was the biggest shift I had to make in my business, especially when I was a full-time teacher. So that was a sacrifice that I had to make. Netflix, I had to sacrifice Netflix. I only allow myself to watch TV on Sundays now. But guess what I look forward to so much on Sundays now? Netflix. And I don't take it for granted because I work my business all week long. That Saturday and Sundays are my off days, and I love my weekends again. It's not like I'm like dreading all week long. I'm just like treading for water. I've like crushed my business. I usually crush my business from like Monday through Thursday. And then Friday's a little bit easier where I do my errands and shop. And then Saturdays and Sundays are my days that I can take off because I've set my business up right. And I actually work with a lot of my teachers, nurses. I have a couple of doctors on my team, SLPs, who really want to enjoy their weekends. And so we set them up with a schedule, intentional time that aligns to their aligns to their priorities, and start breaking down those things that they need to sacrifice. Sacrificing music on your way to work and plugging in Rachel Hollis. Sacrificing in that time when, if you're a teacher, maybe instead of going to the teacher's lounge and gossiping about Sally, maybe stay in your classroom and grade those papers that you would have had to bring home that day, and really breaking down those day-to-day things that you can do to add to your business. And that's where this business mindset really comes into play. And I was listening to the Empower Her podcast yesterday by Keisha Fitzgerald, and it's so good. You should check it out. But she talks about how like, this is the only life we get. Like, this is the only one. And we're just kind of, like Jen said, we're just waiting for somebody to push us off the cliff and like jump all in. But you guys just have to take responsibility for this business. That was the biggest shift. If you could take anything away from this call, then in 2017, when I was in this transitional period of my life, I didn't even mention to you guys that in 2017, my dad was also admitted to rehab. He relapsed. Admitted into rehab. I picked up my entire life from Baltimore, moved it back to Rochester to be close to him. 6 months later, picked it back up, moved it back to Baltimore. And it was just a crazy point in my life. But it was in that transitional period where I knew that I had to go all in on this business. I had a coach, one of my diamond coaches, ask me, Ashley, how in like the midst of the craziness of your life right now, are you staying on track in your business and in your health? And I said to her, so often when we have tornadoes come our way, or we have bad days or things that go wrong, we make those our main focus, and we open that door up to more negativity. Why would I turn off something so good that's bringing me so much joy? If I make my dad's relapse my main focus, or this move my main focus, I am just opening up the door to more negativity. And I know that I will not rebound from that. I need to focus on the good in my life. And because I did, our business totally changed. And I believe that in those periods of your life that are the hardest is going to be where the growth really comes. And so like Christina said, what could you guys accomplish by Summit? What could you guys accomplish by this time next year? Every single one of you guys can be an elite coach this year. Every single one of you guys can become an elite coach this year, because I was so far off and did it in 3 months. And I have seen coaches start their business and hit elite because they decided they want it, and because they actually start aligning their priorities to the action items in their business, and they become the CEO. It's not about doing all of the right things, guys. It's about having the right mindset and proving to the other people out there that they can join you because they deserve this opportunity. And whenever I have somebody say to me, like, what is coaching? Like, what do you even do for a living? I'm like, it's two things. Number one, it's filling up my own cup every single day, never missing a day, becoming the best Ashley that I can be, shining my light a little bit brighter, and then proving to the other Ashleys of the world that because I'm showing up, because of where I've come from and how I've grown, there's no reason that you can't too. And if you can do those two things and get really good at them, that's the action. If you can do those two things and get really good at them, not rate your nutrition a 6, but rate your nutrition a 10. Go all in on your nutrition. Go all in on your workouts. Prove to yourself what your body is capable of. Prove to yourself what your mind is capable of. You're going to impact all of the other people. And paired with that is the not so sexy stuff, the action items that need to get done in our businesses, but so many of us are faced with fear that we just don't do them until all of a sudden you say to yourself, well, this business isn't for me, but you didn't even give it a shot. And so right away, I think of the first not so sexy action item as being inviting. But I want you to shift your mindset when it comes to inviting, because the majority of us, we are here because of an invite, whether it was a public invite, whether it was a private invite. You were here because somebody showed up and invited you into the journey, right? And so I think back to my coach on social media, her before and after photo. She publicly invited me to this opportunity. No, she probably didn't make that post saying, I'm going to get Ashley Feldeisen this time. But she showed up on that post with the intention of being transparent, of proving to other people that, hey, look what I just did in 21 days. I bet you could do the same thing if you really wanted to. And so when you sit down to send an invite, I really want you to shift your mindset, flip the script a little bit. Instead of thinking to yourself, oh, I have to send these invites just to check a box off, I want you to remind yourself that you have a heartbeat on the other end of every single invite. You have a human being's life on the other end of every single invite who very well could be your next top coach, or could be the person praying for something like this, or praying that you do reach out to them. But you won't know unless you send that photo or send that invite. And you look at all of like Diesel Nation, you look at all of the coaches in Team Beachbody. And they're here because somebody else believed they could. Well, believed that they could, first of all, and then believed that the other person could so much that they got started and joined them. And if you just do that and add that pebble into your pile every single day, send those invites. And you don't have to love sending invites. Grant Cardone says, you don't have to like what you're doing to love what you're doing it for. You don't have to like sending invites, but you do have to love that it's going to change other people's lives. You don't have to like sending invites, but you do have to love the fact that there are other human beings praying for something like this, praying so long and hard. The 22-year-old Ashley 4 years ago craved something like this, craved the ability to have knowledge and feel powerful with nutrition for once in her life. And if Caitlin didn't show up, I don't know if I'd be here. And so remember that. Don't ever write off or feel insignificant in an invite, or feel insignificant in your before and after photo, because it does have the ability to change somebody's life. But it's the action and it's that decision to go all in and do these things every single day, which is going to take you from here to here. And the only thing holding you from here to here is action. Okay. And then the last thing I just want to share, and this was the biggest pivotal point in my business in 2017, and it just wraps it all up, is that I had to make a dream coach list. I had to start thinking about this coach that I craved to lead. I had to start thinking about what she sounded like, what she looked like, what her attributes were, what her tendencies were. And I had to make this list for myself. And so some of those things on that list was somebody who got on every call distraction-free, somebody who showed up to Super Saturdays because she knows they would make her better, somebody who shows up on social media and shares with passion and intent, somebody who goes all in on their health and fitness because they know that, number one, it's for them and they have the ability to do so many incredible things in their journey, but their business will grow as they flourish and as their smile gets a little bit bigger. And I could go on and on and on and on about this dream coach list, but I want you guys to put in the chat just a couple attributes of your dream coach. Like, what does he or she look like, sound like, not look, let's say, what does she sound like? What are her antics? One of my dream coaches, somebody who like goes out and finds information and doesn't just wait for it from me. Somebody who is on a team call and they're like nodding and they're taking notes and they're excited, and not just that, but they're getting off and they're applying those things to their businesses, and I can see that. Somebody who is not hitting Success Club by the skin of their teeth, but hitting Success Club and treating it as the fact that they're changing lives and that the sky is the limit with that. And so the biggest thing to remember, guys, is that you have to take a good hard look in the mirror. And I had to do this. I had to take a good hard look in the mirror and ask myself if I was being her. Am I my dream coach? Am I holding those attributes? And I wasn't all in on my journey. I was hitting Success Club 5 by the skin of my teeth every month. I was not where I wanted to be mentally, emotionally. I wasn't doing personal development. I wasn't showing up on team calls distraction-free. I was scurrying around. I wasn't getting any information from them. I had to shift. I had to become my dream coach. And the best thing to remember in this reflection is that you're in control of these things. These are controllable things. In a world where there are so many uncontrollables, your actions are controllable. The food you put into your mouth, the way you move your body, the amount of invites that you send, the type of content that you create, the personal development that you fill your brain with, that's going to be the type of person who attracts the coaches that are going to help you build volume, that are really going to help you hit diamond, that are going to advance their own businesses and help you hit and become an elite team. But in order for you to have a successful business, you do have to be your dream coach. That's all that I have.
Amazing. So I've heard that now twice, and every time I get more and more and more from it. I can't thank you enough. You have such an amazing story. You have a gift, just so you know that. And you're going to do amazing things. Well, you already have, but you're going to do many, many more amazing things with this business. So you guys, we have no time left really, but.
Sorry, I'm a talker.
No, we wanted you to share everything. But if anyone, one person wants to drop a question, something that you really, really want to ask Ashley, drop it in the chat or unmute yourself real fast. Anyone? Does everybody just want to get to work now? Do your action items? All right. Well, I will just say thank you so much. Exactly. Yes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Christina. This has been an honor. For real. I love you.
I love you too. And I get to talk to your team tomorrow.
Yay.
I'm really excited about that. Again, thank you. Thank you for everyone that showed up. I will share the recording as soon as it's up so that you can spread this to your teams, everyone that's working. And remember, Rise to Diamond, taking applications. Let's do this. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your Monday. I will talk to you later. Bye.